Here we go again, everybody. It's time. It's 2021. It's a new year, but some things stay the same. New Dimension Racing is back once again with the GT2 Challenge today from the Kyoto National track in the GT2 class. I am Chris Ford, and I am joined today by everybody's favourite Irishman from the TBO Challenge commentary booth. It's Eoin Harmon. Hello, Eoin. Nice to see you again. And this track, my friend, is certainly one for this class of cars, and it's got a bit of everything that this car responds to.
You bet, Chris. Welcome along, everybody, to the 2021 GT2 Challenge. Absolutely, we're going to see the fast-paced oval section with flat-out racing. We have plenty of space, and we have the technical corners to keep each and every driver on their toes.
Indeed, Eoin, and this season we are back with GT2 Challenge. It's a 6-round schedule starting here at Kyoto National Track. Today's race is a 45-lap race once the qualifying session that is now underway is complete. And for the rest of the season, it's similar choice of tracks that we had last season. And also at the end, like the TBO Challenge had, we have a non-championship 6-hour round to finish off at the end of the season, which will be quite exciting. Oh, and I think that you are looking to participate in some of these races this year. What can you expect, or what do you expect from this championship this year, which was such a massive success last year on some of these tracks?
My prediction will be the variety of strategy on show is going to be very interesting. We have drivers who want to go from start to finish without a pit stop. Others will be fueling low and hoping that the safety car strategy won't spoil them, so they can pit and get fresh rubber on. And the fierce competition we saw in pre-qualifying, it just means that so much is on the line, and one mistake can be very, very costly.
Yes, so the combinations that we are going through this season are Kyoto National, as I said, is today. In 2 weeks' time, we then go to Rockingham International, RO7. And then, a couple of weeks after that, we have South City Long for the third round of the season, before the second half of the season composes of Blackwood Grand Prix on the 21st of February, Fern Bay Classic on the 7th of March, and Aston Grand Touring will round us off. A lovely track in these cars, to be fair, with a very different turn one to the normal AS5 AS Grand Prix layout. And then, as I said before, a 6-hour finale on the 4th of April for a non-championship fun event for everybody who has competed in this series this season at West Hill International on the 4th of April. That starts a little bit earlier. Normally these all start at 6 o'clock. And then we go from there. So yes, today
Today's format is the Kyoto National layout with 13 corners, including the 2/3 of the main oval. We have this swooping chicane that a lot of drivers will be wary of on the first lap. And then you have the long corner 6, which will be forcing the tyres to stress. And our broadcast team, it's myself and Chris Ford. The camera and director for this evening is Peter Butcher. Chris McElroy is Liaison, and race director is Jonathan Deco Palmer. Qualifying is well underway. Our first primary times have been set, and lo and behold, Isaac Price in the number 2 XRR has pole position with a 1:40 exactly. Joe Holmes, his fierce competitor from pre-qualifying, not far behind. Another thing to note is Maki Humila has joined World Class Lions after being an independent entry earlier this week. Then our reigning champion Yanni Catella is only 6th with a 1:40.19 in pre-qualifying, which was one heck of an experience for someone like me who hasn't played in a long time. 8 drivers set a 1:39 or roughly thereabouts time, and it was only 0.3 of a second separating the top 10. With the XRRs are firm favourites to succeed on this track. It has the power and handling capabilities to suit this oval layout the best compared to the FXO, not quite up there, and then the FZR, which might be a little bit too slidey to handle the capabilities of this track. So now down to the 13 minutes 50 seconds to go. Yeah. So taking notes of our three class of vehicles on show in the GT2, we have the XRR. It has a 2-liter turbocharged inline front 4. It has rear-wheel drive. It weighs 1,100 kilos. It has the highest air intake restriction of 25%, which will knock back its 358 brake horsepower functionality. Elsewhere, we have the FXR, very similar in specs to the XRR, but it has 4-wheel drive drivetrain, and it has just a 24% air intake and a brake horsepower rate of 362. Last but not least is the FZR, which has a 3.6-liter flat 6 rear-wheel drive, and it is the slightly lightest car, just 1 pound less than the other two, but it has the least amount of restriction at just 21%.
The returning driver here, Eoin, is Dennis Lind, a professional race driver. He's been competing all over the world in GT class championships for quite a while now. He hasn't driven Live for Speed for a little while, and it's quite interesting to see him back in amongst this server. He will be one to watch as this season progresses and he gets back into the swing of things, I think.
Yeah, it's always great to have the returning names coming back to Live for Speed. It's certainly a heck of a lot of fun when you get the hang of it.
And we, of course, one of the things that was actually one of the most interesting things about what has happened so far this season is the amount of people that have signed up. We had 68 people, Owen, could you believe that, signed up and did pre-qualifying during this week at Kyoto Grand Prix, Kyoto National Track. Owen, you were one of the people. You were 55th, ironically enough, with your car number, but unfortunately missed out by just a few tenths of a second. Pre-qualifying was hotly contested. The top, was it the top 10 or so, were within a few tenths of a second, the top 38 within a second of each other. And you can see the results of that on the screen just now. Isaac Price was fastest, as you come to expect in the number, or as you'd certainly expect might happen in the number 2 car, but I mean, it was very, very close throughout this pre-qualifying session, and hopefully that maintains itself throughout this season. There was discussions about having a second non-championship round server, but I think that's been put on the back hold for just now.
Yeah, so indeed I was the 55th fastest driver. It was way below the cutoff due to the standard, and you can see a lot of drivers that were so close have just missed the cut line, and it'd be a shame not to see them turn out today, but there's always next time, and I'll certainly be giving it another try.
As the man we were discussing a moment ago, Dennis Lind, comes across the line to finish a lap. Right, he's coming through sector 1. He goes through the little chicane down into this third gear left-hander bend toward the end of the lap. What's his time going to be as he comes to the second split? As he goes through the final section now toward the oval.
Final sort of curb on the right hand side can be so dangerous if you get it wrong, Chris. I've had plenty of headaches with that one.
Yes, it's certainly a challenge, actually, to be honest. As he comes toward the start-finish line, does he manage to improve? He does not manage to improve on his current 19th position, 140.53. I think one of the interesting things, you were talking about the the class of cars there, Owen, a second ago. The interesting thing is, last season I think the FZR was quite well represented, especially at the front. And really, at the moment, this is currently okay. I think this track does suit the XR more than the FZR with the way that the characteristics of the track are. But the XR is certainly the dominant car at the moment. I think there's only one in the top 10 at the moment that's an FZR. In fact, it is, yes, just one FZR in the top 10 at the moment. And the FXR has, again, taken a bit of a hit on how many people were actually in it from last season. So it's very interesting to see how this championship, with the slightly different calendar this year, has changed people's perception of which cars they want to drive for this season.
Yeah, so as we head further down the calendar, it'll be likely the FZR will come into its element. But Gabor Gior has managed to hit P3. It's a massive improvement on his pre-qualifying time. I wonder if he was hiding his potential. That's very, very curious, but I hope he can hang on in there, just behind Joe Holmes.
Yep, and we will just take a little look back. We're talking about last season, the FZR and the FXR. Well, let's have a look at last season's gripping series finale. You might remember it at Kyoto Grand Prix Long. Eoin Katia ended up taking the championship, and he runs the number 1 car today. Do you remember, Owen, you weren't in the commentary box that day, but you might have been watching when everybody seemed to get a puncture in the last few laps, and we didn't really have a clue who was going to win the race. And in the end, Katia came through to win the not the World Championship, but the GT2 Challenge Championship. He'll be delighted I've said World Championship by accident. Over Isaac Price, who finished in second position, with Matthias Maki Homla in third, and Joe Holmes, who really didn't seem to get much luck last season, ending up in fourth position in his XRR, which he is running again this season. So it was a very, very close championship last year, and I expect it to be very similar again this year. You were discussing earlier, Owen, it's going to be tyre strategy that is very, very key to this, because I think they can go the whole distance on one set of soft compound R2 rubber in the XRRs. I'll be fascinated to see if they can do it in the FZRs.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to do a race simulation on your own or with teammates nearby on the circuit, but when it's full pressure, full throttle racing, the mistakes will prove ever so costly. If you go on the grass and you slide, burning your rear tires or even your fronts, they can go bang just when you're inches away from the start finish, and that's going to be the factor today. And indeed, if there are any safety car periods, that could spoil the plans that drivers who want to make a pit stop under green, they will want to avoid that at all costs.
At the moment, Isaac Price in the number 2 car is currently quickest, 139.67. Joe Holmes is in second position, the aforementioned Joe Holmes in car number 36. Eoin Katia, the series champion, is in third position. It's interesting to note, I think all 3 of them are underneath their pre-qualifying lap times. Price certainly is quicker with a 39.67 at the moment.
Yeah, Isaac has improved on his pre-qualifying time. He's pulled it out of the bag under the spotlight of the official qualifying session. But one driver that was absolutely lightning in pre-qualifying, but we don't quite have him to his max, is Vytautas Lagushkas. He is currently in 11th place in the 03 XRR. So hopefully with 5 minutes 20 to go, he can leap back up to where he belongs.
Of course, those two are competing under the bracket of Chad Motorsports for this season, or Chad Esports, Chad Motorsports, Chad Esports, Chad Esports. What a name! So I'm not particularly looking forward to this race today, because some jokers called Adam Brown and Nico Pantola have combined forces this season to have a CSF Esports, which is fantastic. Thank you to both of them for this honour, or whatever it is. So yeah, I just wanted to get that one out of the way before I have to say it in the race when one of them does something silly. Thank you.
Well, big boss, you want to probably have a chat with them after the race, see how they get on, because they're effectively your boys, whether you want them or not.
We should also mention some of the more returnees, like William Lima, who has come back in his XR for this season, and Kaiki Piroppo, who's also back again for this season. Both of them had very interesting seasons last season. They always have pace to burn, these two, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them as this season progresses, because I think there's always been a strong Brazilian community within Live for Speed, and I think that it's been a bit more underground while it was less of an international event in the last few years. And it's great to see so many different nationalities and so many different people from all over the world coming together. This is incredible that we have in 2021 38 people in this server competing in this race today, and 68 that tried to qualify from all over the place. It's truly a remarkable feat today for Live for Speed, and long may this continue, and hopefully that means that 6-hour race, Owen, should be quite entertaining when everybody can team up.
That's right, Chris. Yeah, and the Eastern Europeans, I know they love to band together and prove which of their nationalities is the best. We're currently watching Zatautas in the 07 representing Team Sidus. That's correct, yeah, Lukas Zatautas of Lithuania, sporting his national flag on the top. He's actually improved to 4th place. That's a 1 minute 39.89. That's absolutely brilliant. And time is running out. The drivers want to be on track in the next 20 to 30 seconds if they're realistically going to get their tire warming process done and crossing the line in time. With the competitive nature, lots of single-digit numbers there, 2, 3, 7, and the champion, Yanni Catella, there, hoping to find that last bit of power and pace to get Isaac Price off the top. And as I said about the Eastern European countries, we have Latvia, we have Estonia, and then some of our Scandinavian friends. We saw Finland do extremely well in pre-qualifying. They have representation across the top 24, and indeed down in positions 25 and 36 we had Henry Virtanen and Jari Catella also there. But Hungary has one of the Ballas. It's Daniel Balla in 33rd place for pre-qualifying, but for the main event he's actually improved to where is he? 26th position. Yeah, that's excellent. Great improvement there.
You were talking about Joni Katia a second ago. He's now down to 5th position. So it's certainly Liaison, who we were saying earlier, was having a little bit of an issue. He's now up 3rd in the Chad Esports car as well. But I'm not convinced on this run down to turn number 1 you actually have an advantage being on the front row of the grid. You must also remember that, or something we should be aware of, Owen, is that bump drafting is definitely prohibited here. So there should be none of that heading into turn number 1.
Yeah, we don't want any lag collisions which spin drivers wildly off the track. Only regular slipstreaming down the straights or wherever the drivers can seem fit. But any bump drafting will be outlawed by our race directing team today. So none of that, please.
Down with this sort of thing.
Careful now.
Anyway, careful. My lovely horse. Anyway, no, enough Father Ted. So yes, we're into the final 30 seconds of this qualifying session. Price is still fastest. I'm watching personally Reno Coots right now. He normally has a little bit more pace than this, but well, I say normally has a bit more pace. He's a quarter of a second off, and he's in 8th position. So that should sum up how competitive this grid is at the moment.
Yeah, we saw Reno in the TBO challenge. When he entered, he absolutely stormed it with victories from flag to flag, representing AirTac Newsroom, and his teammate Sean Lee is 13th. So they'll be fighting well, I'd say, come race time. We've hit 0 seconds on the clock, so the drivers have to log their last lap times now, or else they have to settle for their position or drop down if anyone else takes advantage. Coots crossed the line, he's gone 3rd.
Yep,
at 139.88, just ahead of Liaison at the death. Well done.
He overtook. He only improved by 1/10 of a second to win, and that really does sum up how competitive this grid is. 1/10 of a second goes from 8th to 3rd for Reno Coots.
Sublime efforts from him. We have Maki Humala. He's going for better than 10th. Yarmalov Vicious crosses the line. Oh, has he improved? No, I don't think he has.
I think
No, he
Isaac.
stays 36th.
I think Isaac Price is about to shatter the morale here. He certainly seems to be reasonably close to his own personal best, which is a blinding 1:39.67 on pole at the moment over Joe Holmes by half a tenth of a second. He's slightly dipped down into the banking there, though. He has given up the lap. Oh well.
Well, he'll be delighted to have beaten his pre-qualifying time.
The last car is Sean Lee across the line. Here he comes. Can he improve on 13th? He cannot. 140.16, which keeps him 13th on the grid. He's only a thousandth of a second off of his his own personal best in that session, but he remains 13th.
Yeah, so salute to Gior as well. He's in the FZR and he's broken the XR or stranglehold with the 139.96. That is absolutely stunning from him. But as you said, Chris, the standard that these 38 drivers have demonstrated is phenomenal, and they now have to put it on for the race. They'll be competing for the points that matter, and the team's championship should be very, very hot as well. We've seen the variety of teams show up as well, so we'll see how they get on. Isaac Price has lived up to his billing, taking pole position with the 139.67. Joe Holmes will join him on the front of the grid with a 139.72. Reno Coots has that third position, followed by Laguskas and Zatautas. Champion Yanni Catilla has sixth position. Lekinonen has grabbed the seventh position there, just behind. Gabor Gior, as I said, has the P8. William Lima has grabbed ninth, and Kaike Parapo secures a top 10 just below the 1:40 sort of cutoff that separates our best qualifiers. Maki Humala is 11th, Veloso 12th. Sean Lee is going to take 13th position. Lapinakis just behind there in 14th, and Petrauskas is just behind there 15th. Our second FZR representation is Dennis Lind, 16th fastest there. Picanco 17th, Vertinen 18th, Alexandra has 19th, and Sarah has just snuck in for 20th position.
Then we have the aforementioned Adam Brown in 21st position before Linda is 22nd. Inca is in 23rd. Before David Godge in 24th position, ahead of Andre Arujo in 25th position. Darius Brzezinskas is 26th, with Nico Pontola in 27th. Bordvars is in 28th position, ahead of Yilmaz in 29th. Daniel Bala is 30th, ahead of Patrick Hall, Jared Meade, Martin Capelle, Mateus Ribeiro, Cristobal Gonzalez, and Jarmo Levicius in 36th, Yari Katia 37th, and Luis Vinicius rounds out the top 38. And that was very, very close, that session. It went 1.5 seconds covering the entire grid.
Yeah. So 36 of the 38 drivers got into the priceless 1:40 range. So it goes to show every driver has something to offer, and it's going to be so close to have their thoughts very much planned on the race.
So now we have a treat for you all. It's not quite the lap that he's just done in qualifying, but we have a lap time with our pole position man, Isaac Price. Hit it, Pete.
Hi guys, and welcome to my hot lap of Kyoto National in a GT2 XRR. We start the lap on the oval. Here, just try and travel the minimum distance possible without scrubbing too much speed as we prepare for turn 1. Here we brake between 150 and 100 meters. Try and cut the entry curb as much as possible, keeping about 150 kph there, down to second gear, being as smooth as possible, and then use all the road on the exit. Now we wait for the split time. For the next corner, I'm only going to downshift once, so it's really important just to be as smooth as I can off the brake, use the downshift to fourth just to get the car to rotate, and then again focusing on keeping the car smooth on exit, use all the road. Here I try and look to see what speed I'm carrying, managed to just flick up to 201 kph as I turned right, so that was perfect. Again, downshifting to third here, try and be smooth off the brake to avoid unsettling the car too much, but flick the car down to third to get the car to rotate, avoid the curb on the exit. Now, third gear here makes it really tricky, but it's super important to get a good run onto the oval. I hold third a little bit longer here rather than short shifting, just to use the maximum power onto the oval. Now it's pretty much just straightforward, try and minimize the distance, and that's basically a hot lap of Kyoto National. It's 1 minute 39.74, so it's not quite my PB, but it's really close, so it's a good benchmark for anyone who's trying to learn the track.
That was a serious lap, we thought, in pre-qualifying, but somehow he's managed to even beat that lap time with in the qualifying session with a 1:39.67, and he was, it can be confirmed, on a quicker lap at the end of that session that would have catapulted him even further ahead of everybody else. Half a tenth between the top two, and then a tenth back to Reno Coots actually, so the top two really there are well ahead, but they're not actually that far ahead in terms of time. It's a really strange thing to say, but if you look at everybody else there, Owen, you've got cars that are on the same lap time throughout that grid.
Definitely, Chris, and I'm obviously delighted that the drivers got through the 20-minute session without any major hiccups. We saw Isaac there walk through his lap, and he turns it into a fine science, driving around at breakneck speed. So it goes to show how gifted he is at sim racing. But the factor is the tire strategy, the fuel strategy. What will their lead pack go for, and what consequences will there be if they get it wrong? Could the tire blow out? Could they run out of fuel? It's going to be so fascinating.
Another factor today is the low wind that we will have in this track. So it'll be interesting to see which way that wind will be blowing. Will it give everybody a boost down the back straight, or will it be a headwind against them? That could be quite interesting, especially down into the first corner, or the first braking point I should say, because technically the first corner on this track is the oval section, the normal turn 4 on the oval. So we have 10 minutes or so until the start of this race, this 45 lap race. And as you were discussing there, Owen, tire strategy is going to be the thing today. Can people make their no-stop strategies work? We saw that quite a few times last season, especially the first round of the season, which I didn't expect Isaac Price to be able to manage, but he did manage to win that race. In particular, makes me think of that. However, we saw the last race where it can all go wrong whenever we start getting punctures. So that'll be a very, very interesting thing to see during this race. This is really a track that suits this class of car. It has everything. It has long straights, it has technical twisting corners, and it has places you can definitely overtake. It will certainly be interesting to see who can master the start. As I said before, I don't think there's a great advantage being on pole or the front row of the grid here, because you will get drafted down into that first corner. And back in a long time ago, when I were a lad, in Masters of Endurance, it was quite common for people to jump from at least 5th on the grid to take the lead. So if I were Yoni Katia or Vitautas Lagushkas, I'd be thinking I can get into that lead position into that first corner and then try and control the race, but it's going to be very, very difficult for everybody in this race today.
Yeah, and indeed, sector 3 of the track, it will be the last 3 corners. If you get your braking point wrong, you'll be at risk of hitting the grass or even the gravel. And I've spun at turn 11, heading into 11A quite a lot when I was practicing at the beginning. And then turn 12, if you hit the wall on the left-hand side, your momentum will be spoiled. And a lot of drivers are going to gobble you up and find their way down to the final oval turn, the big banking, and you will lose 2 or 3 seconds on your next lap. It will be so costly if you get into a needless battle or you hit the grass or the gravel and hit that wall. That'll be really something we don't want to see happen to our drivers.
No, and as you mentioned earlier, there are some tricky curbs out there for people to potentially lose and lose time on, at the very least. In worst case scenario, get snapped into a spin. Certainly in turn number 3, the second part of the chicane, after the oval section, and also the corner you were discussing there, 11A. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, whether anybody gets caught out by that during this race. Everybody should know about these trials and tribulations by now. So let's see, we are now 8 minutes away. The grid is just being formed up within Live for Speed itself. Jonathan Palmer and John Prevost in charge of today's race, and behind the camera we have Pete Butcher, and Pete is ready to go, I think.
We are.
Oh, and of course, Chris McElroy, Elmo, is also here. He'll be our disembodied voice behind the cameras today, feeding us all kinds of facts and stats.
We also have Stuart Baker driving our safety car today. It'll be crucial to see if he needs to get back to work after the green flag. It'll definitely decide a huge factor of today's race.
I think there's a good chance of a safety car here, if I'm honest, especially at the start. But I think that with it mainly being XRRs out there today, and we know that they like to sit in gravel traps and not move.
Yeah, the best chance of XRRs getting stuck would definitely be that first chicane, because you could just get door-to-door banging. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's the way of sim racing. Sometimes you get the knock on your door. Yeah, so I was just saying, if there's door-to-door banging, someone has to eventually spear off, and they could wind up trapped in the gravel, meaning the safety car will have to neutralize the circuit and keep everybody on the straight and narrow.
Coming up on Sim Broadcasts, well, the next thing that will happen on Sim Broadcasts is the RTFR next round on the 19th of January from South City. The combination, or the car combination, is South City with the UFR. That should be quite a bit of fun. I'd imagine that'll be have some very wacky racing and potentially some incidents thrown in there, given the lightness of that car, especially around that first few corners where the cars like to bounce around a little bit. But yeah, please feel free on the 19th of January to come and join us on Sim Broadcast for simbroadcast.tv for that. That will be quite an entertaining one, I'm no doubt. We are just going to take a very, very short break while the Jonathans complete their setup for the race, and we will be right back. Welcome back to round one of GT2 Challenge 2020 by New Dimension Racing with simbroadcast.tv. I am Chris Ford, and I am joined today again by my Irish colleague. Hello, Eoin.
Hi, Chris, and hello, everybody, once again.
We are just coming up the formation lap here at Kyoto Grand Prix National, not Kyoto Grand Prix National, Kyoto National. We are just about to get started and get on the way. They're doing their current sort of run to the grid sort of style start.
So everybody back to front there, sort of Le Mans style start.
So yes, Stuart Baker takes them round. He is our designated safety car for the day. Isaac Price there on pole position with Joe Holmes in second position. So, Owen, what are you expecting from this start? I'm looking forward to it greatly because GT2 starts are always entertaining.
Yeah, the midfield battle from about 10th the way down. The slipstream effect won't hurt them as badly as you predicted the pulse hitter will be negated by. The rolling start means the drivers will probably duck and weave. They might see a spot that hasn't been attended to, and they'll use the oval section to dive down the inside, or maybe hang it around the outside, so they'll be on the racing line for the first chicane. Anything could happen, but I'd say the quality of the driving we've seen to this point has been so fantastic that everybody will keep their noses clean. I don't anticipate a major shunt, but that's just me.
Yes, I think it'll be very interesting to see whether my prediction is correct and they can somehow manage to jump at the start, the second row and the third row on the front row. But if anybody can hold them off, it's Isaac Price and Joe Holmes. You have to imagine as the vicious tyre warming begins in the second sector, they come down now toward the third gear left-hand hairpin, where Stuart Baker will leave them and begin to let Isaac Price take control of this grid situation. Price, Holmes, Coots, Lagauskas, your first four in qualifying of this GT2 Challenge Championship for 2021. We thank you all for watching today. It means a hell of a lot to us that there is so much interest in this series from everybody at New Dimension Racing and SimBroadcast.tv. Thank you. Thank you for being here to watch this entertainment. Hopefully this race will give you what you need on a Sunday night. Stuart Baker will peel off into the pit lane. Isaac Price will become the safety car.
So they're going too wide. They're double file, I should say, heading for the precious green flag to get us underway. Last minute checks now. I want to make sure everybody has their odds and evens in fine shape. So Isaac elects to take the inside line, heading into turn number 1. And Joe Holmes will have his decision to make. What will the other Chad Esports car do right behind him? It's going to be so close. Here we go. The safety car peels off, and the green flag flies. No.
We wait.
Still waiting. We're waiting.
We're still waiting.
Green.
It's a long
green,
one. There
green.
we go. Green flag. It's go, go, go. Take it away,
Price
Chris.
has got a great start. Holmes cuts into his slipstream, managing to get in second position. Coots follows behind in third. It seems to be all clean so far. A little bit of a bump draft there, as we were discussing earlier, for Coots on the back of Joe Holmes. Holmes has the slipstream. Price is holding the inside line. Can Holmes or Coots go around the outside? It's Coots who goes to the outside. Holmes now goes to the inside. It's 3 wide down into the first corner. And Coots goes around the outside, and both of them will win. Can he get the job done?
Oh my Lord, Coots!
Coots into the lead. Oh, big crash though, and they
Oh,
pick up a
it's
fight
Parappo.
track. Who was that?
Oh,
This could be a red
gosh.
flag.
I think that's a red, yeah. We saw Parappo just skidding off in a pirouette into the turn 3 gravel trap. Gonzalez in the gravel. Ribeiro, I think, is in trouble. Lapinakis down the back. It's a big shame.
It's just Gonzalez is really stuck, I think, though, so they might be able to get away without this being a red flag. Oh no, Velosso's there as well. I didn't see Velosso. Velosso's damage. There's a massive amount of damage on his car, so that will possibly be the one that causes the safety car.
Safety car boards and
Yep,
flags.
safety car
please.
board
Safety car
comes
boards
out.
and
So
flags.
safety car at the end of
boards
this
and
first
flags.
lap.
Recovery at
I
turn 3.
assume that there was some kind of lag incident. They're looking at the way that Velosso's car is. He's back on track now, but you can see there it's almost like a Formula 1 car now with the sort of low scooped nose. So the safety car are out on track at the end of this first lap. Rio Coots made the big move at the start, Owen.
Yeah, that was utterly sublime, Chris. He just found the gap on the outside and got his braking just where he needed to be. So he had the next inside line available to him, and into the lead he went. With Joe Holmes and Isaac Price down 1, they will now be plotting what to do next. But my prediction for no chaos has gone awry. We do have that safety car, which means anybody who would hope to pit under green, they will have their strategy altered. So it gives the zero stoppers a bit of an advantage. It's not set in stone just yet, I don't think. There are still 43 laps to go, so there's still plenty of time for those tires to lose their structure and go bang.
It's interesting to note that there's so much damage to the back of Lima's car and the front of Velosso's car. So if I were a betting man, I think there's been lag contact between those two, and that's what sent Lima flying off into the gravel trap as we saw him almost taking the lead. He was that far up alongside the leaders. So a bit of a disaster there for the two teammates.
Yeah, we do have cars exiting pit lane now. It is open, so they're legally allowed to pit. Either they'll want to adjust their strategy, or, as you said, Chris, fix that heavy damage they picked up on the first lap incident. So Jared Meade pitted. Brzezinskas had to pit as well. We'll see. Nobody has dropped out just yet. One driver has dropped out, excuse me. Lima's dropped out, excuse me.
Yeah, Lima had massive damage to his car. I think he would have probably gone a lap down at least. So he's pulled into the garages and pulled out of the Grand Prix, out of the GT2 Challenge Round 1. People wanted to call this World Championship today. I mean, it could basically be the World Championship of Speed, I suppose, but it's not.
Not quite. We do cover various continents. We're in Kyoto, Japan for round number 1, so it's a little bit of a World Championship, and we do have various nationalities on show. Yeah, the safety car will be passing through for another lap here, Chris. It means that those drivers who did need to pit will catch up to the back of the queue, and it gives the front runners even more time to preserve their rubber, see if they can follow up on their plans to zero stop.
Yes, it'll be certainly very interesting to see how this affects the race. It will be a positive for all drivers. I'm not seeing... Just going to quickly go through while we're getting the... I'm getting massive lag. I'm just interested to know who's on R2, R2 and who's on R2, R3. I don't suspect we'll have many on R2, R3, to be honest, though. That will give us an indication of who's planning to go zero stop. But I think you should be able to get away with zero stop on all types of tyre today.
Yeah, so the majority of drivers, from what I can see on my screen, do have that R2 combo. A few have risked going for harder R3 compound, and that would indicate they're planning to go to the end for certainty. That gives them the safety of a little bit extra power to run on before the tires go in. Safety car in this lap. Race control confirmed, safety car in this lap. The last car who pitted, who needs to catch up, still a long way away, unfortunately, so they could be in a spot of bother.
So interestingly enough, only one car in Dennis Lind appears to be on an R2, R3 setup. So even the FZRs that are out there appear to be using the R2, R2, so they must be confident they can get to the end, because it's not that different. It's not that many more laps to get an R2, R2 to the finish, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Of course, it's certainly a different expectation of the drivers now. The double file format won't be used again for the safety car. It'll be single flag to the flag.
So here we go again, Eoin. Reno Coots is leading them round to restart this race on lap 4 it will be. Coots has jumped from third to first on the start, going 3 wide into the first break. It's on a remarkable pass, but why is he on the grass? He's driven onto the grass at the start of this restart, Eoin, and that's going to give Isaac Price the momentum. He had jumped Isaac Price at the start of that restart there, but Coots has lost all momentum by driving onto the grass on the inside, and he's under massive pressure now from the car number 2 of Isaac Price. Can
flag,
Price
green
get
flag.
his lead back? Green flag is given by Jonathan Palmer. Here comes Isaac Price on the back of Eero Coots. Coots goes to defend the inside line. Price goes to the outside. And I think this might be a slam dunk back. But Coots is still there. He seems to be holding on. He clips the apex so slightly. Coots concedes the lead to Isaac Price. And I think Price is going to hold it down the inside this time. He'll be surely a little bit more wary of the outside move from Coots this time, and he is. And Price has the lead back at this restart.
Call Chris. Isaac Price caught Reno with a little bit of sort of psyching out, a bit of psychology. So he has the lead back after the first lap heroics. Checking now in the midfield. We have drivers away cleanly this time. Everybody reaches the first sector as they wish. No major problems. Isaac's lead. It's significant for half a lap, but it's not necessarily done and dusted. Joe Holmes has pulled out a great gap on Zatautas for 4th position, though. That's really, really helpful for his ambition to win. As they cross the Sector 2 line, and it's about 0.6 of a second for Isaac. Yes, 5 tenths of a second, rounded up to 6. So he has a great lead so far, and he should break the slipstream. Joe Holmes has a chance on Reno, though. In 8th place, it's Lech Koinen with Sean Lee in the other Air Attack Newsroom car. They're going to be side by side. In the sort of tri-oval section, Sean Lee will slipstream. He elects to take the deep outside line. He's right there now, but he needs to turn. Nail it. He's done it. Great move for Sean Lee into 8th position.
Can he get 2 of them here? He's going to have a think about going down the inside into turn number 2. Lee double pass there on the oval section up into 7th position, is it? Yes, 7th position. So good driving there from Sean Lee.
That's inspired for AirTac Newsroom. They love the first chicane. Down the grid, Vertainen has drivers hauled off the Born to Race car. Has Andrea Araujo for company. And just behind is Vidoviers. Again, so many quality drivers up and down the field.
Maki Homla and Lahaikanen are side by side as they come into the second sector. The 2 Finns there battling over 9th position. Maki Homla thought he had the run. He does have the run again down into this left-hand hairpin, but he's not quite going to get the job done. He thinks better of it for just now. Lahakanen's Fs are under pressure at the start of this race. Sorry, XR.
Price increases his lead to 0.9 of a second. Compared to the last lap, he was 0.6 up. So slowly but surely, the Welshman is grabbing this race by the neck. And our champion, Joni Katila, has the slipstream on the Team Sidus cars. Zatautas. Caddy, I think he's got the slipstream as Veloso has timed out his race is run. That's an awful shame to see. Zatautas will not defend. I think he's going to yield in the hope he has the racing line. Fastest lap by Price, a 1:40.6. That is better than I did in my pre-qualifying, and he's in race condition with full fuel. It's Katila. He's lost momentum, but he will brake later and takes 4th position. Holds on to the slidey back end and into the double apex hairpin to start the first sector.
The 40.6 from Isaac Price would have put him 26th on the grid as well in this race.
Gabor Dior side by side with World Class Lions. Oh, he's backed out of it. The World Class Lions driver, Maki Humala. He is trying to represent the FZR spec car with pride, but Adam Brown with CSF on his number plate has plans to rise up to the top 10, elevate himself to the top 10, but it's not going to come here. He's just a little too far back. It's about 0.2 of a second. It's so close there in that area of the track.
It's an anime skin as well, for God's sake.
Oh, that's the way of the world sometimes.
I hope
it's
he does.
Araujo versus Daniel Balla. Balla has gained a lot of places since the start, but his race green car has damage. Yeah, Bala will have Patrick Hall for company as well. Oh, he's lost the momentum. Patrick Hall is up a position. Great move.
Curious.
The Canadian is up a place, and Araujo has no slipstream partner. I suspect there will be an overtake. Oh, it's gone worse for Bala. Vinicius has the move. I did say in the pre-race build-up that last corner can cost so much time if you make a mistake. Araujo defends the inside, but it's Patrick Hall. Does he have the gas to get him over the top? No, he doesn't. He's going to hang on in there. Araujo has to brake as late as he possibly can. He does have one inside line to claim before another opens up to him, and he does do it. Well done, Andre. Jared Meade in position as well.
Whoa.
He's got a train next to him. It's another Air Attack museum car next to
Whoa,
him.
contact there, Sarah.
It's double figures here, or side by side.
Here comes Piroppo. They're going 3 wide into this left-hander.
Piroppo.
This can't go well, can it? Piroppo up the inside of Katia and Picanco, and he gets the job done. Up in front of them, Sarah and Yilmaz are side by side. This is a battle for about 28th position, 35th. This is remarkable. Look at this. They're still side by side. There's now 6 of them. There was 7. One's escaped. Katia wants out. Oh, there's another one come up into it. So it's back to 7.
Brzezinskas with an overtake.
Again. And Yilmaz turns it on Katia. There's contact.
Brzezinskas, great overtake.
Piroppo's bound about 10 places up on this lap. Linda and Katia are side by side now into this section as well. There's still about 9 cars here, Eoin.
Honestly, this is just sublime. Like, we had the double file when we're basically in a sector 2, like the very tight sector 2. Drive-through penalty for Matthias Linde. He's caused contact on the first corner, so he has to come into the pits to serve that penalty. Draft action here. Lapinecas in the center here. He has 2 drivers to negotiate with here. Oh, Vinicius. He's gone to block Vinicius. It opens the door for Daniel Bala on the outside. Oh, he can't take the apex. He will lose out here. Unfortunately, couldn't elect. And look at number 72. Brzezinskas, contact. Oh, he's knocked Bala off the road. I was a little bit ambitious from the 72. Oh, he did his best. He was excellent on the last lap. I saw a great overtake from him. This time it's gone wrong.
This is more like ITCC than GT2 race.
Do have Lekkonen versus Maki Humala for 8th place up the order as Reno Kutz is doing his best to hang on to Isaac Price's coattails, a 1.4 second deficit. But let's see Maki Humala representing world-class Lions. Does he have that slipstream effect in his pocket? I'd say it's going to take half of the tri-oval Chris to get it done. There's no real threat from Adam Brown behind him. That's great news, as Adam Brown did get that 10th position, but he is far too far behind to worry about Humala for the moment.
The other, Dennis Lind, also got a penalty for causing avoidable contact on lap number 1. So both the Lindas getting contact penalties on lap 1.
And it's Nico Pantola trying the double. Back-to-back overtakes for Nico Pantola into 14th. That is absolutely superb here from Pantola. Patrick Lenka. Oh, is he going to attack him again on the outside? He is. Oh, he's going to suffer similarly. Oh, no, he's done it. He has found the sequence to overtake Pantola back. Contact from Alexandra in the rear, but it's only gentle. It won't matter. Well done to those drivers in the midfield. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, so there we go. 3 drivers for 14th, 15th, 16th. They've put on a heck of a show here, and there's still 40 or 35 laps to go.
Would you like to lie down after all that one? That was so I think that was very, very interesting.
It was, but there's far too much still to come on the GT2 Challenge of 2021 at Kyoto National, so no rest for the weary here.
Meade, Capelle and Piroppo are basically side by side into the final sector. At the moment, Capelle hits the curb. just holds off, hitting into Jared Meade. Piroppo maintaining a watching brief. He obviously coming back after incidents on the first lap. Piroppo up the inside of Capelle. Can he overtake Meade then? Capelle has got the better run on Piroppo though, so it's not a slam dunk there for Kaike Piroppo that he's made the move on Capelle, and you'd think that Capelle's going to get a nice little run on both of them here, but Meade has got the best run out of all three of them, and he's kind of gone, leaving Piroppo and Capelle to battle over 24th position as they come onto the oval. Capelle goes to the inside on Piroppo and manages to make the move stick. Piroppo opening the door a little bit there, and there's another car right there I can see as
Pedro
well.
Picanco, Chris.
Picanco,
That's Pedro
yes.
Picanco.
Picanco coming at them both, so this is going to be a three-way battle still, despite Jared Meade getting away slightly. Piroppo back in front of Capelle. Can Picanco make a move on Capelle down into the first corner? Capelle is actually thinking about going around the outside of Piroppo, but I think Piroppo's going to get the job done now, and he does. Slight bit of two-wheel action there from Piroppo as well, as he makes the move stick. Picanco, you've got to think he's going to get past Capelle now. But no, he's got a little bit of slide on, so that's that battle sort of gone for another few corners at least, and you'd have to imagine he'll wait until the oval section.
Top runners are still fairly stable, Chris. Price leads by 1.4 seconds. Coots has a gap to third place, Joe Holmes. Yanni Catilla, again, a little bit further behind in fourth. Tautas also on his own here, but Laguskas has the best chance of gaining on him with a few more efforts in the next couple of laps. You never know. Sean Lee has gained from his qualifying. He's up to 7th.
The fastest out of that little gaggle of four that are sort of breaking away, kind of, is actually Johnny Katia at the back of that moment. Price 40.6, 40.7 for Neil Coots, 40.8 for Joe Holmes, and 40.6, just slightly quicker than price for Johnny Katia. So Katia starting to make moves, having maybe disappointed himself slightly in qualifying, going to qualifying 5th. He is attacking the back of Joe Holmes, and we know from West Hill last year that Holmes, Price and Katia like to get together. Will we see that again today? Not if Isaac Price has anything to do with it, because he has just built that little bit of a gap, and it's enough at the moment that he can afford to just take control of his tyres, make sure that there's nothing going on with them. He's got the clear track in front of him, and he is the man who has the easiest job at the moment. But Katia's getting ever closer, it feels like, to the back of Joe Holmes.
Into the turn number 6 here, Andre Araujo with a love tap on Vertanen. That's opened the door for Lapinakis in the 9 car to attack. This is just the wrong sector for overtakes. You have to plan for this hairpin left coming up. Before you do anything, you have to go single file here. But this is one heck of a single file. No room for error. Vertanen defending. He will use that incline, a slight incline to defend. Patrick Hall is also in view here. 4-way battle for 18th.
Oh, there's going to be contact there, surely.
Yeah, Lapinakis. That's a move done.
Now Patrick Hull's going to be sitting there thinking, I could have all three of these guys if I get a good run out this final corner. The XRR slightly taking away from the FSR off the corner there, but I think he's going to have a good, nice little run. Certainly he can get 2 of them, I think, if he's smart here, Patrick Hull. He's just sitting there in his lovely lime green car, waiting to take advantage. Araujo gets squeezed slightly by Lapinakis. Hall goes through the middle of the two. He's really got to get in the inside, doesn't he, and take Araujo's slipstream. He does now. Can he get them both? Patrick Hall going to try the double overtake. Araujo will hold the inside line, so Hall goes around the outside. Can he make it stick around there? We've seen Rudo Coots take the lead there on the first lap. Hall around the outside does make the double move stick. Beautiful from Patrick Hall.
Great job there. The moment of truth came there for Patrick Hall, and he lived up to it. His FZR is now flying with P19, possibly P18.
Vertanen also seems to have a little bit of damage there, and I think that he must have been around about the first corner incident from his grid position as well. So there's quite a lot of wounded cars out there, and I wonder how that's actually going to affect things toward the end of the race as we try to go through with tyres as Hall thinks about having a look up the inside, thinks better of it. Arujo is right behind him as well. So these guys are really, really not getting a moment's time to breathe.
Yes, we have Picanco and Capelle in head-to-head battle here for 25th. It was nearly a chance for Capelle to overtake in that turn number 9 hairpin. It didn't quite pay off, and in equal machinery, I think Picanco has done enough to plan his defense into the tri-oval.
Hall made an error out of the final corner, and he's been easily passed by Arujo and might get passed by Lapidicus as well. So all the work he made for the double move has been completely lost through that error there as he's trying to get onto the back of Vertinen, and now he's back down to 21st. Viniscus and Piroppo are side by side at the first corner as well, and as we see on the screen,
that's the job done for Lapidicus.
Oh, so they're just back in the order they were when we first picked this battle up then. All the moves, and they're back in the same form. Vertinen still not being passed by anybody. Hinka and Alexandra are very, very close for 15th position at the moment. Patrick Hinkler in the Born to Racing XRR. I think he's going to have a little go. I think Alexandra is going to have a go into the tri-oval section. He's certainly close enough, you'd think, this time around.
Yeah, RP Racing are one of the names we're not quite expecting to see at the top of the billings, but Alexandra is giving his best shot here against Born to Race and Patrick Linka. But now he will have an opportunity. The slipstream should definitely be on here, Chris. Oh, and Linka decides, I'm going to counter-attack you. He's given up the inside line for the final official turn before the tri-oval, in the hope that he'll get him back here with Kyoto 500 style slipstreaming.
Yeah, it's a reasonable tactic, to be honest, because you want to be in the slipstream. You don't want to be slipstreamed. But I think Alexandra might have just is actually going to keep the position, I think, if he's sensible enough here and he drifts toward the middle of the road. It's going to be hard for Hinkler to get around the outside. We have seen it done before today, but I think Alexandra is just enough ahead. And there's some more two-wheel action there from Alexandra. Good defence, good driving, good attempt by Hinkler not to lose the position without a fight, but I think he knew he had to give that up. So that's 15th position.
So Kaike Piroppo has sandwiched in Vertinen with his teammate Araujo, but Patrick Hall is watching this intently. Will there be contact? It's a late dive for Kaike. He does have the inside line now. He's done it well. He's left the door. Vertinen is struggling there on his tires. Patrick Hall doing his best to spot the moment, but I'm afraid this is a chance for Vertinen to readjust his confidence, get on the ideal line here to defend for the end of Sector 2. Hall decides to use a light cutback here, and Vertinen is vulnerable. Again, his placement is spot on. Can't blame him for that. Yeah, and there's a bumper to bumper. Vinicius and Meade are looking on as well. Fastest lap by Reno Coots, a 1:40.47. Oh, yes, Meade has overtaken Vinicius.
Yes, Vinicius got on the
23rd
curb.
position.
He got on the curb and got a massive tank slapper. Somehow didn't hit the wall, but he has lost the position or lost the upper hand. He's going to come back at him though. Vertinen defends from Hall. Meade defends from Vinicius. And they're all going down to turn number 2. Patrick Hall on the inside there, Vertinen on the outside. Can Hall make this move stick? Has Vertinen finally gone to the back of this little train that he's held up for the past few laps? I think he is now going to be passed by Patrick Hall, and Patrick Hall makes the move stick. As Meade also keeps the position on Vinicius after Vinicius made the error. It's so, the remarkable thing, because they're so close, one slide and out of that final corner, that's the key corner on this track to make a move. And if you saw it there for Vinicius, he was thinking about making up 2 positions. Had the smallest of slides, and now he's back down 2 positions. So very, very frustrating for the drivers, but it just goes to show how close this grid is.
We have position 8th and 9th here. Maki, Humala, and Lekkonen has been losing a bit of time here. The slipstream looks to be available here. Number 61 here of World Class Lions. It's going to develop later on in the lap. Car off. Yes, Vidoviarts has lost control. He can get out, but it's going to take a long while.
Oh, I think he's hit the curb. Looking at the way that his tire marks are there, I think he's hit that curb I was talking about before the race. But if you're just on the inside, there's a funny sort of kick to it, and you can't do anything. You just go around, and that's the end of that. So I think looking at the tire marks there, that's what's happened to him there. No VSC, no SC required. He's managed to get it back out onto the track.
Yeah, good job. The Procrastination Motorsports cars are very close together there. Number 50, Matthias Linda and Andre Araujo. What's a big cue here, Chris? Vinicius with an ambitious move. Didn't pay off, and Martin Capelle will go around the outside. That's job done.
Comes Sarah.
Santu Sara as well has gained. But Capelle has actually lost a bit of momentum himself, but he will defend. On the outside, Sarah just running out of grip there. Oh, it's well done by Capelle. Yobala in the background should be attacking Vinicius. You can just see on the rear wing of Capelle, they're all so close. Vinicius loses time. It's an opportunity for Bala. Not quite possible for him yet. But there are going to be 4 cars so tied to each other. Daniel Bala's great run out of the final corner despite his damage.
It's remarkable. We're approaching half distance already. Where's this race actually gone? Where's the time gone already in this race, Eoin?
I don't know, Chris. It's just been breakneck speed.
Bala is on the
Lap
lap of
after lap.
Vinicius again. He's going down the inside, Eoin. Despite the damage to his car, they're actually both catching up to Sarah. But I think Bala's going to have this now. I don't think he's going to be able to make the double pass. He's going to go for it. No, he's not. He's going to back out, and he's going to maintain 26th position. I tell you who's catching him after his drive-through penalty, Dennis Lind.
Yeah, work to do for Lind. But Yarkatilla is going to be caught here. There is the miniature back straight here on Kyoto National. We're going to pay attention to this one. He's got the inside line, but the XRR has a little bit better external grip, but it's an overtake completed by Lind. Yarkatilla doesn't want to give up, as Lima has disconnected from the server.
He retired on lap 1, so he retired on lap 1, so that's just him leaving. So no further retirements.
So Sarah has Martin Capelle for a rivalry here. It's 24th and 25th. The slipstream is going to kick in now. Sarah doesn't want to defend the inside line with the opportunity to counter stream. Capelle now has the opportunity to defend the chicane line here. But the big boost out of the FZR is going to help him, but the job is done for Martin Capelle. Daniel Bala doing well just in his mirrors there. It's going to be close. Vinicius also behind, ready to pounce. Oh, he's lost control of the background there, Chris. He just slid on that curb.
Yeah, he's held it. He's had
He's held it.
lights today, so the rear of his car Yeah, the rear tyres are struggling on that XR at the moment. He's had quite a few number of slides. Seems to get close to anything. So, yeah, as car 83 has retired from this race. That's our third retirement. One time out, one pull out after lap 1, and now a further retirement on lap 18 or 19 at 45. Run down the top 10 for everybody at home just now. It is as follows. Isaac Price leading from Joe Holmes by roughly 2 seconds at the moment. Sorry, it's Rio Coots in second position. Price leads from Coots with Joe Holmes in third position. Yoni Katia is in fourth position. Fifth is Zuteros, and sixth is Vitautas Laguskas. Seventh is Sean Lay, with Lahaikinen in eighth. Maki Homla in ninth position, and Adam Brown is rounding out the top 10 in his disgusting skin.
Well, that's the Chris we know and love. He's not going to hold back. He will not pull those punches. But sure.
Anyway, the top 10. Sorry, I was trying to use the tracker there for everybody at home, but for some reason my tracker will not update with the names. So we're trying to do a top 10 rundown. And I'm getting old these days, and I can't really read the game rundown very well anymore for who's where. So yeah, maybe Owen, you've got glasses and I don't, so maybe we'll get you to do that next time if the tracker's still not updating.
Yes,
this is carnage.
Thank you.
I'm not having a very good day, boys.
Well, we'll make it better, Chris. We still have a lot of laps to go, nearly the halfway point. Maki Humala and Lekainen have that's 8th place, going to change hands for a moment. Joe Holmes puts in the fastest lap just as these two cross the line.
Joe
side by
does
side.
the fastest lap, but I tell you who's the second fastest by 1,000th of a second. Holmes does a 40.20 and Katia does a 40.21. Those two are the ones that are making the moves at the moment, Owen. Price is Mr. Consistent out in front and he's building up a lead.
Lahaikinen has defended for the moment. He's got the place back. That's held on beautifully. Great job.
Maki Homla fancies a run at Lahaikinen, though you can really feel it, and he's going to slip down the inside like Dennis Lind did on the Katia. Is he going to be able to make it stick? It's a little bit different passing Lahaikinen there, though. Oh, so close to contact. Surely there's going to be contact.
Comes back to
Lahaikinen
just in time.
And now Lahaikinen has the inside run. But if I was Maki Homla, I'd think about waiting to the straight, unless you want to make a big move into this hairpin. Coming up, contact again through the sweeping chicane. Maki Homla sticks a nose in, but Lahaikinen turns in and says, "You're not having my 8th position right now, son. You have to wait until he has to wait until the tri-oval section." Maki Homla, you'd think, will get the run this time if he could just hold it. Doesn't want to lose any time through this tricky final corner. And Drafty's got a better run, though he's tighter off the corner than Lahaikinen. It was Lahaikinen that made the slight error, and Maki Homla, you have to imagine, is going to be able to make this pass stick down into turn number 2. We're on the oval section, this nice wide area of track, beautiful for slipstreaming in any car, but especially in an XRR GT2, as Maki Homla with this old classic Team Virus skin comes up behind Lahaikinen. He knows he can smell his prey. He's getting closer. Will he be able to go around the outside? Because you can't imagine Lahakinen's going to give him the inside. He's going to have to go the long way around Maki Homla. He didn't get as much of a draft as he wanted. Can he go right around the outside, though, into turn number 2? Lahaikinen stays there, but I think he's going to have to give up at this point. Can he hold on for the double right? No, he can't, and Maki Homla just manages to squeeze the gap out, and he takes the 8th position.
Yeah, so into the 21st lap for the likes of Daniel Bala and Sarah. They are slipstreaming each other here. Martin Capelle goes high just in front of them. It means Sarah will gain a little bit extra oomph for the chicane. And similar to Maki Homla, he's got the job done. And Bala will have to watch out. in our FXR representation. Brzezinskas. Oh, he's going to get Bala here. Bala just missed out. It's contact. Slight contact. The door to door. Brzezinskas gains. Bala loses.
It feels like Bala's just being pinballed all day today, really, doesn't it? When it's every time he seems to make up time, somebody hits him. It's very unfortunate.
That's the struggles for him, but now up the front, Coots has lost a little bit of time to Joe Holmes. The opportunity to overtake hasn't arrived yet, but you can see how close it is. And the quality of the top 10 drivers especially, we've seen very little movement, but any movement you can gain, it's going to be worth extra bit to these guys. It's so competitive.
For the last 5 or 6 laps, the front 4 have been lapping within 0.2 of a second roughly of each other every lap. So I mean that's where they are at the moment. It's sort of, it seems as though Coots is the one who's the quote-unquote slowest at the moment, but that really means very little because they are so close together.
Patrick Hall versus Pedro Picanco, and Picanco has done it. The chicane pays dividends to him. Hall was a little bit helpless there, and that was a move for 20th position. Another battle not too far away, Brzezinskas and Dennis Lind. It's advantage to Brzezinskas, but he does yield the inside line, allowing Lind to gobble him up and take 26th.
Dennis Lind did not want to be behind the bus for too long there on his comeback trail after having a drive-through penalty for an incident on the first lap, as seen by us, but we presume it's probably related to the big crash on lap number 1 that brought out the safety car.
Gotch and Paroppo 16th and 17th here. It's Paroppo going to use a slipstream effect perhaps later on in the tri-oval. The inches to the apron are so tight there, you can just manage to hang on without losing momentum. Paroppo is still plotting his move, and he's going for it. Oh, he had to back to the left, going for the outside. Again, the grip is favouring the number 18, and he's got the move, but he needs to force the inside for the chicane. And there we go again, another example of using the slipstream and the chicane to gain a position.
Yeah, they were incredibly close coming off the oval section there. Coots and Holmes, I think, are about to have a battle though. And it's now down to 0.4 of a second, so I think Joe Holmes is really lining him up at the moment. It seems Holmes looks really as we come to the end of the lap that brings us to halfway distance, or brings us past halfway distance, I should say. We're going on to lap number 24 out of 41. It's Price, Coots and Holmes being stalked by Katia. That's the front 4 really in this race. It looks as though one of those 4 will take the flag. And the big battle now is between Reno Coots, who had a fantastic start from 3rd on the grid, to slam round the outside of a 3-way battle between Holmes and Price. Then we had a safety car for big crashes. Isaac Price is the first man into the 1-minute 39s in the race stint. Oofed. On lap 24. Oofed. That's something else. I wonder if they're going to pit. It just seems very fast, that sort of speed. But anyway, so Coots, who slammed around the outside, had said into the lead, and then the safety car came out. He caught the grass on the restart. He looked to have made a good restart, but he caught the grass out the final corner, and that gave the momentum to Price, who took the lead back, and Price has just edged away. He now leads by 3.8 seconds over Reno Coots, with Joe Holmes and Yoni Katia rounding out top 4.
Patrick Hall has got payback on Araujo. It's 20th again for the Canadian. Our number 50 car for Energy is trying, but no success. Energy Virtual Racing is the full title for Andre's team. Have to think that one all over again, Chris. Oh, he's gone onto the grass, a little dabble on the grass. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Jared Meade wouldn't have been able to notice that for definite from his vantage point, but that will give him half a lap to put him under pressure. Sarah and Lind ascend here, and it's delivered for Lind. Another position gained as he rescues his race with the half distance covered.
Yes, Darius there on the charge, having had issues on the first lap, as we said. It's good to see all these older names back within Live for Speed at the moment.
And Lind is just an absolute fire burner here. He's going for every instance here, and he's just going to gobble up poor old Martin Capelle. Yeah, he's really going to be considered a driver of the day contender for this performance after his nightmarish start. Well, on this rate, you just never know. Here we go, he's going to gain on the inside. Crossing the line now, 24th.
Can Capelle come back? He sweeps in behind Darius Lind. I think he's going to have a go round everybody's favourite passing spot around the outside. No, I think he's thinking better of it than having a go, and he is. Capelle allows Lind through into 24th position. Job done for the FCR driver.
I do see Ribeiro has decided to come into the pits. Ribeiro, is that a strategy? No, it's a drive-through. He's actually sped into the pit lane, Chris. He must have been planning that pit stop all along. He did have a moment in the gravel. He's out of the race. He's out of the race. He must have had trouble with his tire wear, Chris. Yeah, I just did see him off the road in the last sector, but it's paid off. Sean Lee is now under pressure from Maki Humele. Something did happen to Lecky Kunin. That's left him back a long way, about 2.1 seconds. So that was,
I think it must have happened the previous lap because it must have happened the previous lap because he just did a faster lap time than Maki Humele, so something we've clearly missed at some point.
So let's cover the top 10 again as we're past the halfway point. Isaac Price holds on to the lead by 4 seconds. Reno Coots is doing his best to balance winning this race with holding on to the podium with pressure from Joe Holmes in 3rd place. Champion Yoni Katila is also well in contention here, 4th place for him. Zutautas has the 5th position for Team Sidus. Laguskas has P6. Teammate of Isaac's with Sean Lee for Tech Newsroom. He's in 7th, and we'll be watching Meki Humele for World Class Lions very closely. He is in 8th. 9th place is Lecky Heinen with Adam Brown still 10th place. Nico Bentola's got a problem here. Nico Bentola has made a mistake just before the 3rd sector begins. Yeah, so we were talking about the CSF team, and we have one down. Nico Bentola down a few positions. A pit stop is coming for Petrauskas, the Born to Race team. He's going flat out as best he can before the speed limit line. He does hang on to the slide very, very neatly, but he'll be sweating now. A lot of the drivers had that safety car window to preserve their tires, so he'll be under pressure. Ala is on the attack on Brzezinskas, and so far so good. He's gained the position, but the slipstream will come into effect again. That FXR is powerful when it wants to be, but the frontline grip in the 4-wheel drive car, oh yes, you can see it now. He's got it back. Neatly done. Oh, bit of a bump. That's okay. Brzezinskas is now 26th again. Sean Lee's moment under the spotlight has come. Maki Humala is ready, but will he be willing to attack now, or will he save it for another lap? Is he playing a bit of mind games? He's playing with his indicators, Chris.
Well, that won't work.
It won't work,
I mean,
says Chris, yes. But it's still something for us to probably pick up on. He is alerted to the danger, is Sean Lee.
Are you trying to suggest he's like one of these animals that can change colour or something when he senses predators
camouflage.
coming?
But now Matti Humala has to hang on in there for another while before Sean Lee is going to be broken. Oh, he's done it. I'll curse the commentator. Matti Humala pounces just as I was looking away, and he's earned that 7th position. He's been waiting a long time to get it, so well done to him.
Yeah, Maki Humala coming back from was it incident? He must be involved in the first lap incident because he fell down from his original grid position, and now he's chasing down Vytautas Lagutskas, who's having a disappointing afternoon, I think, Owen, given how well he went last season, especially given how well he normally goes in these events. I wonder if he's maybe running low, because it just seems very strange that he's so not quite at the pace today.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought there, Chris. It's just the precious phase of the race is coming up, I'd say, in this window now. 28 to 38, we'll see those drivers who haven't been managing their tyres fall off the road. So it's time to start the on-track strategizing as we have a battle. Oh, Dennis Lind has caught up to Vertinen. This is 23rd versus 22nd. We bear witness to the damage on Lind's car from that first lap. It's on the left-hand side of the car. We won't be able to see it from the oval cameras just yet, but it doesn't seem to worry the number 60 driver. He has now gained P22. It's just the last to defend here. Yeah, he's held on nicely there. Just you have Bala through on Sarah. Battle wages on lap after lap.
Kut and Holmes are still really close together. It's down to half a second, with Katia 7/10 of a second behind Holmes in second and third, so 1.2 seconds covering second, third and fourth. It seems as though every time Holmes gets close, he just can't quite get close enough at the moment. But
sorry to interrupt, Chris, we have a puncture to report, and Daniel Bala's luck has run out. His tyres couldn't even make it to lap 30. Thankfully, he's not in the gravel trap. That would be game over. You will now have the final corner to negotiate, and you can now get onto that apron to prepare pit stop. The right fronts were fatal for me when I was doing my race simulation practice, and it's paid the price for Bala as well. Good save, Bala. That keeps him alive for the moment. But drivers down the back will be paying attention to that, see if they can gain a position. Isaac Price still leading, of course. That's a 4-second lead still.
So I'm just looking at tyre wear within this front four group, and the person I'd like Elmo to whisper me what he thinks. He normally has a good read in these sort of things. I think the person with the least front right tyre tread, which is going to be the one to probably go, is probably Reno Coots at the moment. It looks to me as though he's maybe locked up somewhere. Out of the four, it certainly seems as though he's been the one to use his front tyres the most, as Joe Holmes brings the gap down again. Now it's just 0.4 of a second, so Holmes getting there each time as he can, as they swing past Daniel Bala, who leaves the pits after repairing his punctured tyre. There, Joe Holmes actually caught the funny curb in turn number 3 and almost got pitched into a spin, but he managed to catch it. But he is definitely faster than Reno Coots at the moment, but not to a point where he can easily just rock up and make the pass. So this is where Coots' experience and his skill at defending will be paying off right now, and Yoni Katia maintains a watching brief just half a second behind the two of these. So this is where it's going to happen in the front four. Price has the lead of about 4 seconds now.
It's certainly a gulf in class when you think about the quality on show. 4 seconds to separate somebody in the top 10, that's massive. I've been watching this battle for 12th, 13th and 14th. Lapinakis is on the attack against Alexandra, with Kaikai Parapo also in the wings for any potential collision. Parapo's currently favoured in the single file section of the track. He's got a lot of momentum. He decides to go for the outside line using the AstroTurf, and this could be a heck of a move here, but the grip will just run out with the slight incline. But he has the inside for the next corner under the bridge. Oh, Lapinakis. Oh, he's going to lose the space. Yeah, he's lost the space. Doesn't want to go in the gravel. And that was an excellent bit of psyching out from Parapo. He has that position gained for the moment with the tri-oval section to come.
It's really unfortunate what happened to Kaiki Parapo at the start there. Caught up in the incident on lap number 1 and dropped right back. And I'm watching Reno Coots, and yes, he's definitely locking his right front tyre considerably especially into 4 and 4B.
Is it another shot on camera for Dennis Lind as he wants to finish in the top 20? It's Jared Meade for Angry Angus Racing. He's not going to be able to hang on here, Chris. He has given up that inside line. There may be a chance here. We haven't seen too many drivers stand up to Dennis Lind here in the midfield, but Jared Meade has made his mind up. He's going to counter stream here. Oh, he decides to back out of it. Never mind.
Yep, Lind up to 21st position after his drive-through penalty earlier on. He has a bit of damage from the first corner incident on his left front, but nothing that's causing too much problems. He is now chasing Arujo for 20th position.
That's 1.2 seconds of a gap separating 20th and 21st. We have a battle for 28th and 29th. Yari Catilla and Gonzalez are not too far away from each other here. We have so we have Catilla. He's going to sweep to the outside for the apex, but the pace of Gonzalez isn't to be shrugged at here. He's going to attack for the oval. Just going to sweep down to that next apex before the Chromo Bridge and the start of the Sector 3. There we go. It's potentially a little bit of a wobble there. Shouldn't be too bad, but the slipstream effect isn't going to kick in straight away. You may need another half a lap, I'd say.
Yeah, Gonzalez struggling on the curb there, just getting a bit loose, and that's not what you need out in that final corner. Oh, Holmes has caught Coots. Holmes is suddenly on the back. There must have been an error by Coots. Contact, and he's going to try around the outside. No, he's not. He's going to stay and tuck in. This is going to give Katia a great run on them both, though. Surely. I mean, here's Coots. Coots lost 2/10 in that first sector, so all must have happened in that long left-hander. I wonder if he made an error. Holmes thinks better of the dive into this right-hand corner. Katia just making a watching brief on the back of Holmes and Coots. Coots again likes to
he was on the
run on the
grass.
grass. I don't understand that. I mean, it's like when he's defending, he likes to go really tight there, but you don't really need to do that. You just need a smooth exit, and that's cost him. And is it going to cost him second position? These two have a long history, going back a decade, of having incidents together. It's Rio Coots versus Joe Holmes as they come down onto lap 34. 11 laps to go. Holmes sweeps to the inside. Coots is just going to let him go, I think, Owen, which is a little bit surprising, but I think he'll try and duck back now. Yes, there he goes. He's going to try and go his favourite way of round the outside into turn number 2. Holmes has the inside line. Coots on the outside again. It's just like lap number 1. Holmes squeezes the gap to leave him nowhere to go. Good driving for Joe Holmes. Beautiful driving for Joe Holmes. Left just enough room. Narrowed the gap of Reno Coots. So Coots couldn't do what he did on lap 1, which was sweep all the way around the outside. Joe Holmes back into second position.
Yeah, and Coots did have a tank slapper there, nothing to cause him over concern. But Eoin Catella is now also a prime contender for a podium place after a long race in 4th place. Gonzalez is deciding to take a pit stop here, and that will give Bella a chance to catch up again. Eoin is now able to plot a move on Reno Coots. It seems like the AirTac newsroom car has run out of its stamina. It was a long time coming. This it goes to show you how long these races are. Reno was absolutely brilliant in the TBO challenge when we saw him there, flag to flag running. He's able to break away and control the race from there. But now the control has been yanked out of his hands, and in just the space of a lap, he could be off the runners-up place and off the podium entirely, Chris.
Yep, Katia has the run on Coots. He's going to go the long way around, I think, though. Coots defends the inside line, giving Katia the nicer road today so far of going around the outside. Will Coots do what Joe Holmes did and drive Katia toward the Wallow Narrows gap? And he's left a little bit more of a room, but there's not a huge amount of room for Katia to sweep in. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Coots sticks it back up the inside.
Oh, that's courageous.
There. Brilliant defensive driving by Reno Coots. He learned his lesson from the Joe Holmes incident, or learned what Joe did to him, and he holds on to 3rd position. Katia is still right there, though, and Holmes now has a bit of a gap in 2nd position.
Holmes gains about 0.8 of a second, so he can now think about his race. We have a crash for Andre Araujo. Just by pit entry, unfortunately, and he's decided to pit, so no need for yellow flags. Well, that's a real shame. He needed to pit. It wasn't a puncture related. I just had a flash of his tire condition, and it wasn't a puncture, but he did lose control. And back to the 3rd and 4th place battle. Reno Coots still hanging on in there against the champion Catilla. It's a case of deja vu. It's another opportunity here. There's still time for the drama to unfold. Eoin has momentum, but he won't want Reno on his outside yet again, or on his inside either. You want the move totally done here. Just by the start-finish line, separated by 0.05 of a second. Oh, it's a big squeeze. Eoin knows he has to be through at this stage. He's not going to have it.
Coots is going to have to send it again.
It could be an action replay, yeah.
Oh, Katia's just to hold him this time as he Coots sticks his nose in. Still no contact.
Oh, has he done it? He's going to stay
Katia
off.
makes the move stick. What a move from Eoin Katia. What great driving from the pair of them. What an incredible battle this has been for 2nd, 3rd and 4th position in the last few laps.
Well, you don't want to touch that grass on the outside of the 2nd part of the chicane. It can send you into a big spin. But Eoin, playing like an expert tennis player, kept his target inside the line, and he's now on to P3.
So with
so
10 laps to go, we have Isaac Price leading from Joe Holmes, Johnny Katia and Reno Kutz in fourth position. This, of course, is the first round of 6 of this year's 2021 GT2 Challenge by New Dimension Racing and SimBroadcast.tv. And once again, as we said earlier on, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today to this race on a Sunday evening. I know it's still strange times for everybody out there just now, and we're hopeful that this race has given you the entertainment that you need on a Sunday night. It's certainly entertained us so far. You can't hear Pete Butcher, but I can tell you Pete Butcher's enjoying it. So thank you, everybody. It means the world to everybody that's involved in these series, for everybody who turns up to watch and everybody that drives. So yes, hopefully this is the first of a great season. We're getting into puncture season, Eoin, because that's car 23. Gior has a puncture out of. Oh, he was running in. I think he was running in 6th, wasn't he, or 7th?
It wasn't that high. He
Drive
was
through.
all alone, just outside the top 10. I think he was kind of in 11th without competition. Oh, he's hit the cap of the speed limit, and he will have to come back for a penalty. And that's a massive, massive loss for him. All of that work.
So
It's gone. He was the fastest FZR in qualifying. He was up the top, and now he's going to go sink to the bottom.
What's going on at the front? Because Isaac Price has suddenly lost 2 seconds the last couple of laps to Joe Holmes. And the gap's gone from 5.5 to 3.5. And his tyres look dead, to be honest, Isaac Price's. Holmes certainly looking slightly more superior temperature condition. And the gap is now 3.7, so maybe something happened to Isaac Price in the last couple of laps.
A battle down the back of the order. Matthias Linde against Jari Katila at the chicane with Gabor Gior. He's joined in on this now.
And he's
Matthias Linde just ahead.
No time. It takes absolutely no time, and his fresh tires to go around the outside of Katia. I don't know if you'll be able to make it stick in this long left-hander, though, but let's see.
Oh no,
Katia,
there's no need to defend this, Jari. Don't defend this. It doesn't matter. He's going to come back anyway, but he decides, shoo, fly, shoo. Get out of my way.
As Jari Katia gets involved in, for 27th, Yoni Katia sets the fastest lap of the race as he tries to chase after Joe Holmes and Isaac Price. So that's interesting enough. I think Price is back up to speed. Whatever happened to him now, though. I don't think that anybody's going to be pitting, though. I think they're all going to be going to the end, which means that Liaison doesn't have any advantage if he was planning to go long. Just seems to have been off the pace this weekend. These tyres are... I don't know, these tyres are beginning... We can't unfortunately show you these tyres from that we can see within Live for Speed's telemetry system, but they're starting to look a little bit funny, Eoin.
Yeah, I think this is where Joe Holmes wants to excel. He's on his own now. He can now use that advantage that you believe he has. If the gap goes beneath 3 seconds, I think there's a show on the road here. But now it's actually gone back up. But there's still time. We're in that crucial phase. We've seen punctures. We've seen drivers lose the back end and gain penalties for going across the speed limiter line too fast.
Tell you who's on the move. It's Maki Homola is on the move at the moment. He is catching up to Vitautas Laguskas in a battle for 6th position. He has steadily been catching all day everybody in front of him, and now he really is making a move for a top 6 finish in this race with 7 laps to go.
Excuse me. Maki Homola, we've seen him pressure some drivers. He's shown great mettle today, and he would be very pleased if he can hang on to the 7th place. Price has overtaken more lap traffic, so we'll see if that's made any difference compared to Joe Holmes.
Yeah, but
only very minimal. It's still enough for a Price as things stand.
But didn't we have a race like this last year, where there was a bit of a sort of lull period, and then a quicker car came through, and then the race leader got a puncture late on? I'm trying to remember which one that was. West Hill, yes, that's what it was. Yes, West Hill with Joe Holmes was miles in front, wasn't he? And then Price and Katia got punctures after Holmes had an incident with a back marker. That's what my memory is remembering. And Isaac won with a puncture, Lewis Hamilton style. Or was it? I think Isaac did it first, so technically Lewis Hamilton is Isaac Price.
Yeah.
I did. Verton and Meade are side by side. Verton getting up on the curb to defend, and there's no way through there for Jared Meade. He'll sit back now through these sweeping right, left, before the left-handed third gear corner. Is he going to make the move there, or will he wait until the tri-oval section? I think he'll wait for the tri-oval section. Verton has seemingly been on our screen a lot today.
Above, Dennis Lind has overtaken Patrick Hall. And there's a chance for the number 64 of David Gotch to be caught as well. We will see. Oh, Hall is pitted. Something is... another drive-through. It's gone too quickly. Puncture has come into effect here, so that FZR just cannot keep that front right going. It's a real shame. Yeah, Born to Race have another casualty here. The pit stop needed for a flat tire for him as well.
Johnny Katia is fairly on the move at the moment. He is catching up to Joe Holmes again. So that could be an interesting battle over this last 5 laps. As we approach, as Isaac Price starts, lap 41 out of 45 in the lead. Reno Coots is fairly, I think he's just decided to make it to the end now. His front right tyre in particular looks pretty miserable out there. And I think he's lost quite a significant portion of grip. He's down in 4th position now and has fairly quickly lost the back of the 2 he was battling hard with a few laps ago. In fact, he's getting caught by quite a few cars actually. Real Coots, he's losing over a second lap. So that could be interesting for 4th position soon.
Just to give a brief shout out to our drivers who took part in the Grid 2 event. We have official results. Ulrich Gundahar has won for Born to Race there with Jeff and Jacob. He was in P2. And Jürgen Weber has secured 3rd place. So the drivers that couldn't qualify on merit have given themselves some valuable experience, and they are our best drivers of the Grid 2.
Oh, Pantola's gone off in the CSF car, and he's being passed by Picanco. Nico Pantola with another anime skin. It's like they knew. Anyway,
it's a tough day for Pantola. He did have one earlier mistake that lost him time. So Patrick Hall takes the drive-through. Jared Meade losing out. Sarah also gains on Meade. Down to Capelle, making better use of the turn 6 parabolica.
But Sarah can pass Meade, so Sarah's now interjected into the middle of this battle, and can Sarah get past Capelle and Meade? These 3 have been together all race as well. It's remarkable. Yep, here comes Dennis Lind, Eoin Harmon's favourite driver of this race, as he comes up to the back of Godge for the battle for 17th position. He's got the run, he goes for the inside instead of the outside, which most people have favoured today. Lind appears to have the move complete. Goj, though, gets into the slipstream and he'll fancy a run around the outside, where the XR has been particularly good at making passes today. 3 laps to go in this race. As Lind holds the inside line, Goj goes for the outside. Will he go for the move? He will not. Lind is up into 17th. Decent comeback here for Dennis Lind today, and especially in the F0, which is not as quick round here as the XR.
Antola and Alexandra for position. Alexandra has a puncture. Puncture for Alexandra. Yeah, he's got to merge onto the track safely. Stay off the racing line. Yeah, Lind and Gotch are now through. That's a puncture. Just shy of the finish. He's done well, Alexandra, and it's all taken away from him here. So watch out for those XRRs. They're starting to fall away.
Yikes, I would not like to be Reno Coots driving on his ice tyres at the moment. This does not look good for the last few laps for him. He's still got to nurse these 3 laps, doing well off the pace lap times, and he is definitely being caught for 4th position.
So something for the strategy in the AirTech newsroom cars. If Reno is struggling with the very cold temperatures, then his teammate is as well, Sean Lee, in 9th.
Liaison is making a move. He's up into 5th position. Liaison has had a quiet race, but he's now back up to 5th position, and he's now chasing down Reno Coots. His pace is still quite good at the end of this stint.
Very impressive. We haven't talked as much about Liaison as he would have wanted, but he's making it count. Aki Humala just behind Zatautas as well. Sidus car won't want to give up. So close to the conclusion. And the slipstream is going to be bang on time here. The outside line is preferred here for Maki Humala. But he'll merge onto the inside for the tri-oval. Fastest lap, Yanni Catilla, 139.6. Remarkable pace. Oh! That's an accidental bump. It won't be flagged by the stewards. I hope he didn't mean to do it. But he'll now try again. Coots just in front versus Liaison.
Maki Humala is coming around the outside of and trying to take 6th position away. Can he get it done? No, not quite. Not quite. He could smell more points here, Maki Humala, having come from...
Yeah, Yilmaz is just ahead of these 2 squabblers. It did give us the impression we had an AirTech newsroom car in range, but it's not to be. Oh, Mati Humala's through against the Tautas. Just the understeer costing the Lithuanian position. Yeah, Yari Catella is no longer going to be finishing in 26th. He has a puncture. Really, really close to the end.
Speaking of Catilla, I think that Eoin's going to get Joe Holmes here off the back. Catilla has been an absolute fire in the second half of this race. He's moving on to the final lap as he passes his father. Can he get up to Joe Holmes?
Final lap.
Final lap for Isaac Price, who's just cruising around. But can Eoin Catilla wrestle away for 2nd position? He looks a little bit too far behind at the moment, though.
Lead for Isaac is 3.67 over Catilla, with Joe Holmes in between. Their treacherous double apex is giving Yanni Catilla first opportunity to strike. It's not going to be possible just yet, Chris. It's potentially turn number 9. The next opportunity if Holmes hangs onto that apex. He's done it. So far you can see a little streak of oversteer, only ever so slight.
Sean Lee's tyres are gone. Now, Catilla can Katia? Both front tyres have gone for Sean Lee. That's a disaster. Katia is still hounding the back of Joe Holmes. Is he going to try and get a run toward the line? Isaac Price is coming toward victory. He's slowed up quite a fair bit as well. Coots has got a puncture as well. Coots has got a puncture. So that, as we were talking about, is right front tyre. Oh,
Goodness
they've both
me.
gone. And Katia's made an error. Katia's not going to... Is he going to get the back of Holmes? How on earth is he going to get this? He's had a massive oversteer moment. Can Holmes hold him off? This is the battle between the reigning champion and Joe Holmes. Second position. Isaac Price is coming to the line though. Isaac Price is going to take the victory, but who's going to be second? It's going to be Joe Holmes. Surely Isaac Price wins the first round of GT2 Challenge 2021. Joe Holmes will finish second. Johnny Katia maybe just needs another lap. In fourth place is going to be Vitautas Liaison, the quiet man of today. Rarely has that ever been said. Mackie Homla with a great comeback is going to come home fifth. Where on earth is Reno Coots? Oh, he's just going to hobble across the line, maybe in the top 10. But that is a disastrous end to the race for Reno Coots, who led early on. And Adam Brown is going to come past for 8th position in the CSF Esports car. Coots keeping it out of the wall. That's a disastrous end to the race for the Air Attack
Linda
team.
has a puncture as well. Number 58 has a puncture as well. Oh, double puncture. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, that was strange. That was carnage. But we did think that there would be tyre issues at the end of that race, and we were quite correct in the end.
Yeah, the safety car didn't quite help out those drivers. It was probably needed for a little bit later on. It was just a little too early. So Isaac Price is our winner for GT2 Challenge of 2021 in Kyoto National, round number 1.
I think Isaac is trying to see. I think Isaac is trying to see whether he could have gone quicker on these tyres at the end of the race and how much more tread he had. He's about to get blocked by the cars that are trundling around, so our race winner is hammering around like Michael Schumacher in the 1998 British Grand Prix, having taken the checkered flag, but in slightly less strange circumstances. Isaac Price is the winner of round 1 at Kyoto National GT2 Challenge 2021 by New Dimension Racing and SimBroadcast.tv. Well, that was truly an interesting race. Very, very interesting from start to finish. I cannot believe that that's 45 laps over already, Eoin.
Yeah, that flew by an hour, 20 minutes, 43.04 seconds. That was a heck of a run for our race winner. Made it very, very comprehensive indeed. And 22 cars finished on the lead lap. That's very impressive as well. So let's give the full race order a quick look. So Isaac Price, Joe Holmes, and Yannick Attila are your podium setters. Liaison is 4th with Mackie Humala completing the top 5. Lecky Koenen has earned 6th place. Vitautas was in 7th. Adam Brown, very quiet race for him, but he made the FZR count with 8th position there. 9th, Reno Coots. Despite that puncture, he did manage to hang on in the end with Picanco completing the top 10. Parappo 11th, Pantola 12th, Helinka 13th. Lind with that comeback drive that I was very impressed by was 14th. Dawid Gotch has 15th. Martin Capelle was the 16th best driver. Sarah, also an FZR driver, has 17th. Sean Lee was punctured, but he made it in 18th. Jared Meade will be very pleased with 19th. Brzezinskas has earned 20th position. Petrauskas, 21st. Our final driver on the lead lap, Linda, for 22nd place. Vidoviars, Gior, Vertinen, Alexandra, Araujo, Yilmaz, Gonzalez, Bala, Hall, Jari Kitela, and Vinicius have earned their place on the finish from 33. We had 36 or 39 starters and 33 finished. Okay, so we will begin the first interview with Isaac Price. He has emerged as victorious, so congratulations, Isaac. How did you fare with that one?
Yeah, it was an interesting race. Obviously, I got a good start, a good restart. I lost a place at the start, but that's kind of to be expected with the way the draft model is on this game. Yeah, so I kind of was just managing the tires the whole way through. At the start, I feel like I settled down quite quickly, so I was able to pull kind of 4 or 5 seconds in the first 20 laps or so. And then, yeah, I wasn't really 100% sure because I could see that Joe's tires were like a little bit greener than mine. So I wasn't 100% sure that my tires were like safe. I thought they should be because I'd managed them really well compared to how I do in practice. You know what I mean? So it was like I felt like they should be safe, but I used the gap that I had just to bring it home, basically. So yeah, but you always in these races you're always a little bit on edge towards the end. You never know 100%. It's really hard to judge when the tires are super thin like that.
Yeah, and you did pull out that crucial gap of about 4 seconds in the middle part of the race. So with your tires thinning out just ever so slightly, do you think if you hadn't pulled out that gap, you would have potentially caused yourself a puncture?
I don't know. I mean, I managed to go like 2 laps after the race, pushing flat out, and I still couldn't puncture them until I started doing a lot of slides. So I think they had quite a bit of tread left. It's just when they're cold, it's really hard to tell because it's like the surface of the tire is the same temperature as the middle, so you can't easily see. You have to go by your own feeling, like you've done it better or worse than you did in practice. But obviously, when you've got wind, that judgment's even harder to make. I felt like they should be fine. They didn't really heat them up at all even when I was pulling away. I wasn't really putting like energy through the tires. I didn't really feel like, but in this kind of series, you know, you want to use the gap if you've got it. So it was nice to have it. That's for sure.
Yeah, so next up for interview is Joe Holmes, who came second. Hi, Joe. That was an extraordinary effort. You weren't quite able to pull out the win, but how did you feel you did today?
Yeah, it were a good race. It were really weird because I feel like you could make your car quick for like the start of the stint or like towards the end. I were hoping that Isaac would get caught up behind Renault because his start pace were just far too good. I were catching him at the end, but I think everybody were kind of looking after their tyres because an hour and 15 on these is kind of tight.
Yeah, and you were neck and neck with the champion Jari Kitela there. How did you manage to keep yourself composed?
Well, I mean, I could see that his tyres were getting cold, so I knew like sector 1 was somewhere where I could kind of pull away. They were really strong in sector 3, which is obviously an issue coming onto the oval, but it was so fast at the end. But looking at it, I think he had some higher tyre pressures than me. So
yeah, so still plenty of time to go in the season. Do you think Rockingham will give you the chance to punish Isaac for giving himself an early advantage?
I think it's going to be tight all season. I don't think that you're going to get a round where like Isaac runs away with it, or I run away with it, or Eoin runs away with it. I just think it's just going to be tight all season. I think that maybe like depending on what tracks they are, if there's somewhere where you can possibly run R2s and get away with it, that might play into his favour. But I think Rocking will be good. I don't think anybody's really done anything there, so nobody has any old setups to work from or anything like that. So it'll be literally starting from zero. So it will be interesting.
Thanks very much, Joe. Let's bring in Jarno Lekikoinen. He finished 6th today. Hi, Jarno. How did you feel you got on today? P6?
Hi, yeah. I think the wind got to me. I was so much slower than in practice without the wind. So, but yeah, it was fun.
So you gained a lot of places compared to your pre-qualifying, Jarno. So how did you feel seeing some of those big competitors fall off the road? Do you think you had it in you to get to the end?
Yeah, well, I did a PB in qualify, so that was kind of overachievement. But in the end, the field was so close together, so I could be in 13th at the start, but now I get my hundreds was with me.
Yeah, indeed. You also broke into the 1 minute 39s. The drivers ahead of you were slightly slower than that. So, do you feel Rockingham will treat you a bit better?
No, it's horrible track. This, but yeah, I have drove like one race there with Fox, so my experience in that track is limited.
Maybe we need to make it into more of a BTCC style running for Rockingham and just let everyone punt each other out the way.
I'm on with that.
Yeah, a bit of a free for all.
You
had a race long battle with Maki Homela. Jarno, how did you compete with him? Do you think you gave yourself a good show there?
Yeah, that was really fun race, and I think it was really clean. But at the start of the battle, I saw that I'm really a lot slower than him at the start, at least, and fast left-hander in beginning of sector 2 was really painful for me. I lost something like half a second in each lap, just in that corner. So
yeah, it was absolutely fabulous for us to watch, Jarno. We really appreciate that. It was entertainment central. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And our next interview is Darius Brzezinskas, aka Trespasser. He finished in 20th today. Welcome, Darius.
Hi.
How did you feel you got on today?
Decent, just a bit hard first laps, but apart from that, quite fun. Just one mistake in a race. Last laps was saving tires like hell, but managed to save them. Car number 04, I think, didn't manage that. Just behind me, had a puncture. I was scared he will hit me, but it was okay. So it was fun.
That's a relief to hear. So you kept it clean. You were on your own at the end. Do you have any interesting battles you were most proud about?
Yeah, I had a couple of battles. I had a battle with Darius, but decided to let him go because he was like a second faster. So it was just not worth to battle. But we had like couple corners to wide, so it was fun.
Yeah, we were enthralled with all the battles, and we hope to see you again in Rockingham. Do you think that track will treat you well?
Well, it will be better than here because less trades, so I hope it will be a bit better.
Well, Darius, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Bye.
And our next guest is Adam Brown, who represented CSF Racing. So you were quiet today, Adam, but you got the P8. That's excellent. How did you feel you got on?
Yeah, I'm really happy with my performance. Actually, my qualifying was a bit naff, but I managed to pretty much drive under all the crashing in T2, and yeah, I just kept it clean till the end. So
yeah, so Chris had something to say about your livery, which got us giggling. but you certainly showed us how it was done. There was FZRs were set to struggle here, but how did you feel it got on?
Yeah, you can thank Nico for the livery.
I know it's Nico. I know it's Nico. I just CSF Esports with an anime livery. God Almighty! God help me!
It's perfect fit.
The troll is the troll wins this time.
Yeah, it was quite difficult. I think not so much on the speed. I mean, the FZs were a tad slower, but I'm not sure I would have been going any faster than an XR. I think it was just more the tire wear. Our tires were, well, yeah, FZ's just not quite as good on the tires, so I really had to nurse it in the last. I started doing 141s and 142s over the last like 6-7 laps. I was really just making sure nothing popped.
Yeah, so we did see the Airtech newsroom team in particular, they had the heartbreak with the punctures, so you certainly gave us a thriller, but you would be very pleased with P8, I'm sure. Do you think Rockingham is a chance to claw back some positions?
Well, I think we've already got a couple TCR setups hiding in our subforums, so I guess I've got a head start that way because I've got setups, but yeah, Pete setups, but
Is that an advantage?
yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see. I mean, I've not tried Rockingham in a GT car really, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Adam. Well done. Next we have Martin Capelle. You were 26th today. Do you feel that was the best you could have done?
Hello. Was I 26th or 16th?
Well, I'm looking at the tracker. It says 26th. It'll be. Was it 16th?
Yep. Yeah.
I apologize.
Do I get a penalty for something?
Yeah, we're giving you a 10th place finishing penalty because of Winters. So.
Well,
the tracker says 26th.
Oh, come on. Right. So.
Okay, I've obviously forgot the standings. I didn't have them screenshotted, so I apologize, everybody. My mistake. So, Martin, do you think 16th was the best you could have done today?
Well, I started 33rd, so that's a great result. And I didn't have a puncture in the end, so that's a plus. And I think I gained a few places in the end because of others having the puncture. So really happy with the race, and it was actually fun in the beginning. A lot of three-way draft and racing. It was fun.
Yeah. So, did you see anything of that first lap incident? You managed to avoid it, I think.
Yes, I just saw it in the distance, some cars going off into the gravel trap, but not sure really what happened there, but I managed to go through it.
Very good. And do you think the next round at Rockingham will be a chance to gain even more places?
I'm afraid I won't make it to the round 2, but so not really. But it's a challenging track anyway, so yeah.
So appreciate your time, Martin. Well done tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay then. So, I think that, boys and girls, is the end of round 1 of the 2021 GT2 Challenge by New Dimension Racing and SimBroadcast.tv. Eoin, that was entertaining as I think that's as entertaining as a GT2 race possibly can be, my friend.
Agreed. Can't wait for the next one.
Yes, so the next one, as you can see there on your screen, is the 24th of January at Rockingham International, which will be completely different as a track. It's very, very twisty compared to this one. I can't wait to see how they go there. I imagine that the FZR will be a little bit more competitive, and possibly the FXR, but you never know with the way that things are. So please join us on the 24th of January 2021 at 6 p.m. UTC to see the next round of GT2 Challenge by New Dimension Racing and SimBroadcast.tv. I've been Chris Ford, he's been Eoin Harmon. Thank you and see you in 2 weeks.
Farewell.